Have you ever looked up at the stars or felt the grass beneath your feet and wondered if it's all real? For centuries, philosophers and thinkers have grappled with the fundamental nature of our existence. Is what we perceive as reality truly fundamental, or is it merely a sophisticated illusion? This isn't just a question for late-night dorm room debates anymore. Thanks to rapid advancements in technology, the idea that we might be living in a computer simulation has moved from the realm of science fiction to a serious, albeit mind-bending philosophical and scientific inquiry. This is the simulation hypothesis, and it suggests that our entire universe, our very lives, could be a meticulously crafted digital construct run by an advanced civilization or entity. Think of it like a hyper-realistic video game where everything you see, hear and feel is rendered on demand, just for you. The modern discussion around this idea really took off with philosopher Nick Bostrom's influential 2003 paper, Are You Living in a Computer Simulation? Since then, it's sparked conversations across philosophy, computing and science, forcing us to confront deep questions about consciousness, free will, and the very meaning of life. But where did such a wild idea even come from? The concept of an illusory reality isn't new. Ancient Chinese philosophy, like Zhuangzi's butterfly dream, pondered if he was a man dreaming he was a butterfly, or a butterfly dreaming he was a man. In India, the philosophy of Maya suggests the perceived world is an illusion, and Plato's allegory of the cave, where prisoners only see shadows of true reality, is a classic example. Fast forward to René Descartes' evil demon thought experiment, which questioned if an all-powerful deceiver could be manipulating our perceptions. What's different now is the source of the potential deception. Instead of mystical beings, the modern simulation hypothesis points to technology. In 1969, Konrad Zuse proposed the universe was fundamentally computational, a concept called digital physics. And as our own computing power exploded, from simple games like Pong in the 70s to today's incredibly immersive virtual reality, the idea of creating entire simulated worlds became less abstract and more plausible. It's almost as if our own technological progress is whispering, what if we're next? At the core of the modern simulation hypothesis is Nick Bostrom's trilemma. He argues that at least one of three possibilities must be true. First, the just extinction hypothesis. It's highly probable that humanity will go extinct before reaching a posthuman stage, a future where we have immense technological power. This could be self-destruction or simply hitting a technological wall. Second, the kin unwillingness hypothesis. Any posthuman civilization is extremely unlikely to run a significant number of ancestor simulations. Maybe they'd find it unethical to create conscious beings who suffer, or perhaps they'd just lose interest in recreating their past. And third, the Fuchs simulation hypothesis. We are almost certainly living in a computer simulation. Bostrom's logic is this: if posthuman civilizations can and want to run ancestor simulations, they'd create so many that the number of simulated beings would vastly outnumber those in base reality. Therefore, statistically, it's far more likely that we are among the simulated. He also assumes that consciousness isn't tied to biological brains, but can arise from any sufficiently complex computational structure. So, what are the arguments that make people think we might be living in a simulation? One popular idea is the fine-tuning of the universe. The fundamental physical constants, like the strength of gravity or the mass of an electron, seem perfectly calibrated for life to exist. Change them even slightly, and the universe as we know it wouldn't be possible. For some, this isn't just a lucky coincidence. It suggests the universe was programmed that way by a simulator. Then there's the mind-boggling pace of technological advancement. Just look at how far virtual reality has come. From pixelated games to hyper-realistic environments, it's easy to imagine a future where simulations are indistinguishable from reality. If we can do it, why couldn't a more advanced civilization have already done it? Some even look to quantum mechanics for clues. Phenomena like superposition, where a particle can be in multiple states at once, or the observer effect, where observing a particle changes its behavior, are sometimes interpreted as computational optimizations. Imagine a video game that only renders details when you look at them to save processing power. Could our universe be doing something similar? And what about the Fermi paradox? The puzzling silence in the universe despite the high probability of alien life. If we're in a simulation, perhaps it was simply designed to exclude extraterrestrial contact. These arguments, while compelling, face significant challenges. The biggest one? Lack of empirical evidence. There's no definitive proof, no glitch in the matrix that we can point to and say, "Aha, we're simulated." Critics also invoke Occam's razor, the principle that the simplest explanation is usually the best. The simulation hypothesis, by requiring simulators and a meta-universe, adds layers of complexity rather than simplifying our understanding of reality. Scientifically, the sheer computational power and energy required to simulate a universe like ours are astronomical. Studies suggest that even a low-resolution simulation of Earth would demand energy equivalent to converting an entire globular cluster's stellar mass into energy. Physicists argue that it's simply impossible for our universe to be simulated by another universe sharing the same physical properties, regardless of future technological advancements. This is a strong physics-based objection to the Matrix-like scenario. Furthermore, the hypothesis relies on dubious assumptions. Can simulated beings truly be conscious? Would advanced civilizations even want to run ancestor simulations, especially if it means inflicting suffering on their creations? And if we are simulated, how can we ever truly know? Any glitch we observe could just be an intended feature of the program, or an as-yet unknown natural phenomenon. This makes the hypothesis incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to falsify, a critical hurdle for any scientific theory. So where does this leave us? Currently, the simulation hypothesis remains a fascinating metaphysical idea, not a scientifically proven theory. There's no conclusive empirical evidence, and many physicists consider it physically impossible given what we know about the universe's laws. However, the very act of debating this hypothesis and our own accelerating ability to create virtual worlds reflects something profound about us. It's a mirror reflecting our anxieties and aspirations about future technology. It forces us to consider the ethical implications of the very technologies we're developing. Ultimately, whether we're living in a simulation or not, the discussion itself is incredibly valuable. It pushes the boundaries of our scientific and philosophical inquiry, encouraging us to explore the deepest questions about reality, consciousness, and what it truly means to exist. And as AI and virtual reality continue to advance, this conversation is only going to get more intense. So what do you think? Are we living in a simulation? The answer for now remains one of the universe's greatest mysteries.